Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Antiheroes Anonymous, or welcome for the first time if it's your first time joining us. I'm Ethan, and I'm the Dungeon Master for this 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons show! I'm sorry about your ears just now. Welcome for the first time, as I said, if this is your first time joining us, or welcome back. We are starting today a brand new D&D campaign in a custom world. I've pulled out of my brain, which I call the world of Alen'dal. We've played a campaign of about 165-ish episodes, I think, set in this world and the various planes surrounding this world, which is all on our YouTube channel. But we are now, after a little bit of a hiatus to play sort of a different campaign, we are stepping back into this one with all new characters in an all new corner of the world to explore it a little bit more and see what's going on. So I've got some announcements before we dive into the show. But before I get to that, would the four of you players care to go around and just say who you are, who you're going to be playing, and just maybe give like one or two fun facts about your characters, since we're gonna start getting to know them really soon?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Nick. I play Embers of White Ash, the Tabaxi monk. She is an ex-con who just got out of prison, serving a 20-year sentence, and is eager to start making amends, and we'll see how that goes for her.
Who was next?
I'll go next.
Okay, I
Yeah,
can't
it
remember
is-
what our old
it's-
order was.
Elwyn
It's
and
in
then
new order
Tuppence.
now, yeah.
And then me.
Luna doesn't want me to go next, but I'm going to go next anyway. Hi, I'm Kay. I am playing Lady Elwyn Amelos, who is an elvish druid. She has left her noble house for the first time in her life, traveled out into the world, and is extremely green when it comes to the ways of the world.
And in every other way, she's extremely blue and purple.
Extremely blue and purple and
Yes.
white. Yes.
So the previous order was me next, but given how our cards are listed, it should be Melissa next.
Oh, alrighty. Well, I'm Melissa, and I play Tuppence Wiseacre, who is a pixie bard, which is a new type of character that Ethan kind of came up with, a custom character, I guess you'd call her. And
Custom race.
custom race, yep. She likes to play music, comes from the Feywild. She's a little bit spunky, but she's got a little temper on her. And one quirky feature that the group will discover. Oh, wait, maybe I'll let it be a surprise. Never mind. But she does have a fear of snakes. She does have a fear of snakes. So I hope none of you have a pet snake. That's it.
All right. Hi, I'm Zach, and I play Rook, who is a changeling artificer. I almost said held character. And let's see, he is a treasure hunter. So he runs out and about in mainly the southern area of Stratos, trying to collect different treasures and artifacts and things. And he's also trying to make some connections with people to strengthen his network.
Cool. Thank you, everyone. So those announcements I talked about. We premiere our episodes every Monday on YouTube at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Throughout the show, we will encounter a variety of custom items, as well as we have the custom Pixie lineage that Melissa is playing. So be aware of that as you're listening or watching. The character portraits, which you'll see all over our beautiful new layout, were drawn by an artist named Krista Porter, who is just a wonderful, wonderful person to work with. And
Hey,
all of
Krista.
yeah, hi Krista, if you're listening.
Hi, I waved.
Lovely. So be sure to enjoy that as you follow along with the campaign. If you need a refresher on things that are going on in the campaign, various characters, locations within the world, we are constantly adding to and editing our World Anvil campaign wiki. So you can go over to there and check that out. There will be links to everything I just mentioned and more in the description. You'll also find in that very same YouTube description some links to some Black Lives Matter and also some Stop Asian Hate resources. So be sure to check those out while you are here. Other than that, you can follow us on Twitter at Antiheroes Anon, where we will post things like we posted a bunch of character reveals leading up to this. So maybe you saw those. And finally, we just hope you enjoy the show, share with your friends, and come back to watch some more. So that's it. Oh, I forgot. We have an intro video.
Yeah, I was about to say. Before we get
That's
into
new
it.
to the series of things that I have to say. So yeah, we have a brand new intro video with a new theme song, which was written by an artist named Rob Tunstall, who also did wonderful work with this. So we'll go ahead and play that video without any more delay so that you can see it. So here goes. Yay!
Yay.
It's so good.
It is so good.
Feel good.
That all came together really, really well. The art all works together. The music just makes it wonderful. It's really cool to have a theme song for our little show.
Rob.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Rob.
Rob.
It's so good.
Yes, it is.
But I think that's the last thing before we actually finally, after so long, start this campaign 2. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Already.
Let's just dive into it then. All right, so 25 years have passed since the center of the moon exploded outward over the world of Alen'dal, and the world itself was covered in a terrifying, maddening darkness during the event that has come to be known as the Starless Night. It is now the 15th day of the month of Dice in the 7,539th year of Alen'dal's calendar, and what ended up being a very long and cold winter for the world is now coming to a close with the early signs of spring's arrival just starting to appear throughout the land. This news story begins in the bustling trade city of Port Horizonshroud on the southernmost coast of the Stratian Empire. Situated in the midst of a harsh and unforgiving tundra, the ancient city depends on trade from warmer areas of the empire and from the Iand Republic to the south to survive. So, it's fortunate that Horizonshroud Harbor does not hibernate for the winter. On the contrary, numerous large metal cargo freighters and traditional wooden trade ships come and go from the harbor day in and day out all year long, endlessly treading their well-worn sea routes. And it is with the arrival of one such ship that we begin this new chapter in the history of the world. After coming together by chance and making a small name for themselves doing odd jobs for money, a group of 4 fledgling adventurers have accepted a recon job to covertly observe the arrival of a vessel named the Flying Ray and report back about what they see. Now, they lie in wait, positioned on or around the sturdy wooden docks amidst the bustling activity that goes hand in hand with that sector of the city. "Here she comes!" a dwarven dockhand shouts over the noise of the constant seagull calls. Nearby, a pack of kobolds taking a break on a stack of crates snap to attention and rush to her side, ready to get to work. "That's the flying ray, all right. Right on time as always," she says as she looks up at the sky to check the position of the sun. "So, my fine adventurers, as you see your mark entering the sheltered harbor, flying a flag that clearly depicts the emblem of a manta ray, this ship begins making its way towards the docks. And my question to you is, how would you have positioned yourselves for this task? If you would be so kind, please tell our viewers a little bit about what they see, what your characters look like, and where you would have positioned yourselves, and how you would be preparing to covertly observe the arrival of this ship. Why don't we start with Embers?
Okay. Embers is, I think, keeping watch while the rest of the party goes about their business surveilling the ship. She's making sure that no one is disturbing them. So she's a little ways off from the rest, kind of more toward the docks.
So she's just kind of trying to look sort of nonchalant as she keeps a lookout to make sure that nobody catches on to it.
Which is kind of hard when you're a giant white cat lady, but she does what she can.
I think Embers blends into the scenery actually quite well because she wears very plain clothes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very perfectly.
There we go. What about Elwyn then?
I think Elwyn would probably be on the dock, flirting with the dock crew to distract them from whoever is actually trying to do something covert.
Most of the dock crew is, dwarves, genasi. There's a lot of kobolds that run around here and there. These short little lizard-like creatures that do a lot of the actual like loading and unloading of the ships. But I think most of the crew that works on these docks would be sort of dwarves and genasi for the most part. So Elwyn would be kind of surrounded by a crowd of them, or has she picked out one or two to just kind of?
I think that depends on who she feels would be the most worthwhile to distract, if that makes sense. Like she would pick out the one who seems like he's in charge or the one that's watching the closest, and she would really play into that really clueless, like highborn tourist.
Well,
it's not hard to do.
No, it's not. For the specific ship that's coming in, it's that dwarven woman I just mentioned, who kind of called out to the kobolds when she saw the flying ray coming into the harbor. So maybe she's been having a nice flirty conversation with Elwyn prior to this. And then as soon as the ship comes in, she kind of looks over to you and she says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I really need to get to work. I've got to unload this one. It's been scheduled to come in, and it's right on time. So."
"Oh, now don't be like that, sugar. We're having so much fun."
She kind of like looks at you,
You have all those little men to do work for you. Now, come on. Help a girl out. I'm new in town.
Well, you see, the kobolds, they're not really good unless you're constantly giving them explicit directions. They tend to just kind of, I don't know, they'll space out, or I really do need to observe them. I'm so sorry. Is there any chance that we could, are you staying in the city?
Why, yes. Yes, I am.
Well, where can I find you? I'd love to come and continue our chat. It's
Well,
been so lovely to meet you.
I'm staying at the rumor mill, but I just can't remember where it is. Could you point me in the right direction, please?
And she just kind of, she is looking very like uncomfortable, but she's like, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, I can take you I can take you part of the way there while the dock hands get the ship situated, and then I just need to be back in time to unload the cargo. So I'll take you part of the way back, and then would that work? Then maybe I can come by and show you the sights later?
Oh yes, that would be a very big help. Thank you kindly.
Yeah, and she'll just kind of like you know, escort you out of the dock area a little bit, take you down a couple streets and she's trying to give you directions the entire time.
And I'm gonna play up being like so lost and not understanding, just stalling for time as long as I can.
Nice. And then what about Tuppence?
Tuppence will probably be sitting at the end of the pier with her lute, kind of picking out new tunes to sing, waiting for her chance to fly unobtrusively closer to survey.
Would she be like a couple docks over, or is she on specifically the dock where
I
the
think
ship
she'd
is headed
be,
towards?
yeah, on the one that's closest.
Okay. Then yeah, some of these kobolds who now have no supervision come over towards Tuppence, and one of them kind of comes up and taps you on the shoulder and says, "Hey, that's real pretty, little lady. Me and my friends, we're just gonna be over here dancing, if that's okay."
Yeah, you can dance to it this time. But if you want to see me in the future, come to the mill house and it'll be a better time.
They kind of like look shifty-eyed, side to side. Oh, yeah, okay, maybe we'll come by, but I mean, just for now, just keep playing. We're loving it. I mean,
Great.
and he kind of like turns out his pockets to see if he has any like change to give you, but he doesn't have any. So he gives you a lint ball instead.
Okay.
First item acquired.
I flick it up with my mage hand and I tap it into the ocean and say, "Thanks, that's fun."
And he and the other kobolds then start having a little bit of a dance party while you're playing your music there. What is Rook doing to?
So, Rook would excuse himself to some secluded area and shapeshift into a kobold.
Okay.
And what kind of does he have? Like some?
Now, here's the question:
Yeah.
kobolds are usually much smaller
Mhm.
than they're a small creature, not a medium creature. Can you do that? I guess I don't know
So,
how your shapeshift works.
you can make yourself appear as a member of another race, though none of your game statistics change. You can't duplicate one that you've never seen. You have to adopt the form that has the same basic arrangement of limbs that you have. That's it.
So yeah, I guess so.
Yep.
I don't see anything about. Yeah, I mean, you probably couldn't go to like a tiny creature, like Tuppence's size, but
Or could you?
you could go to a kobold based on that.
All right. So yeah, he would shapeshift into a kobold, and with his disguise kit and his wardrobe, does he have some like trashy clothes that he could? I'm hoping he would have something that
That's
he
up
could.
to you.
Okay.
You were supposed to decide what your outfits are.
Yeah, and I have some of them, but I didn't know how. I thought I asked how many could I have, and I don't think
Yeah,
we
like
solidified.
5 or 6,
5 or
probably.
6. Okay, I'll make sure I have that by next time. But yeah, he would wear some very like low quality, something to fit in with the other kobolds.
Yeah, they wear kind
Guessing.
of like a lot of clothes with like holes in them. They don't seem
Tattered,
to
yeah.
mind that they're tattered or anything like that. It just seems like they've scavenged everything. Like everything is different sizes,
Yeah.
different colors. Nothing is matched, and it just seems like they just enjoy
So
kind of salvaging things and repurposing them.
yeah, so it's really easy then for me because since he's a medium creature and his wardrobe won't change shape or anything like that, so everything is oversized. Doesn't fit
And
very
I mean
well.
that would be the case for most of the kobolds because they're scavenging from
Yeah, exactly.
medium-sized
So I
creatures
think
too.
I would have something perfect then, just some simple clothes. And then from there he would just be on the dock and he might
Join the dance party.
he might instigate a few little things like cause a little bit of mayhem around just little tiny things, or then once the ship is coming into port, start trying to be more towards the ship itself to observe it and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, the ship is getting a lot closer now. Elwyn is still nowhere to be seen because she's doing a good job keeping the dock hand away. But the ship kind of starts to coast into the docks. And people on the ship begin preparing to like throw down ropes and things like that to tie the ship to the docks as well. But the kobolds on the docks are just completely disorganized at this point. And so no one is really there, and the ship is kind of coming in fast. And finally, someone from the ship shouts really loud at the kobolds. The group of you who are there can see that it is, he's a fire genasi man. He's got like really loose fitting, lightweight red robes that are kind of like sleeveless. And one of his arms, which are rather kind of lean and muscular, has a tattoo of like a multi-headed dragon on it. And he shouts down in this kind of gruff, intimidating voice, "You there, kobolds! Get ready to dock the ship. Where's the dock hand?" And that gets all of their attention. And they all kind of like start running around and making hasty preparations.
Rook like drops what he's holding and like scampers over to the other kobolds.
And somehow, miraculously, these kobolds manage to, with this person on the ship shouting at them, giving them directions, manage to dock this ship without, it crashing into the docks or anything like that. Tuppence, what are you doing amidst the chaos?
I would probably fly over to see if there's an open porthole
Oh, okay.
on the closest side.
There's not really any open porthole. Well, let's see. Yeah, sure. There's an open porthole. You want to just fly right on in?
Well, cautiously, yeah.
You kind of peek in. It looks to be it's a cabin, and there doesn't seem to be anyone in it because most of the crew are up on deck trying to actually dock this ship, yelling at kobolds. So yeah, seems like the coast is clear.
Great, I'll fly in.
It's kind of a generic cabin room. The door out of here is closed, but there is a tiny crack under the door.
Okay, I'll try to peer out from underneath it since I'm teeny.
Look underneath. You can begin to see foots going up. Foots? Oh, geez. You can begin to see feet going up and down the hallway. I was going to say footsteps, but then that didn't make sense, so I tried to change to feet, and it came out as foots. Anyways, you see like booted feet going up and down the hallway, and there's people basically calling out and trying to get the unloading process ready.
Okay, I'll wait for an opportunity. I'll stay where I am and wait for an opportunity to sneak out.
Okay.
And hide somewhere.
So, Embers, you would have seen Tuppence get her opportunity and fly into a porthole. Rook as well, you would have seen that. Is there anything that the two of you would like to do? Elwyn is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah. I guess I am gonna fall back to the dock to make sure that anyone who needs to escape has help doing it.
Okay.
I feel like Embers' part in this plan is like, if it goes wrong, I'm here.
The muscle if required. What about Rook in kobold form?
Kobold Rook is, I think, just gonna hang around where the dockhands are. Are they going in or in and out of the ship?
Yeah, now that the ship has been docked, the crew is going in and out and sort of beginning to bring things up to the deck from down below in the hold, so that they can be unloaded down to the docks. Okay. It looks like there's a sort of like a simple crane thing that they can use to lift like heavy crates from up on the ship, but none of the kobolds seem to know how to use it. So they're all just kind
none
of
of
like,
them, huh?
Yeah.
Just kidding. So we have just one objective here, right? Or do we have multiple objectives?
You're just supposed to observe the unloading of the cargo and kind of report back on what you see.
Okay, well he's gonna start unloading the cargo then,
Okay.
and try and I'm guessing if it's just kobolds down at in the hold, he's gonna just start, looking at stuff too. What's this? What's that?
Okay.
Size and shape of things, odors, colors, whatever you can look at and see. He's like, oh, be a very nosy kobold.
So Embers, this man who was kind of shouting from the deck of the ship, in his gruff voice, has come down onto the docks, and he's now shouting orders from here, since no one else was here to take command. And you see him shout at the kobold you know to be Rook.
Well, I don't know. She wouldn't know which one's me.
Oh, okay. Well, in any case, you know one of the kobolds is Rook, and the man kind of shouts at the group of kobolds and gets them going up onto the decks. Rook, when you get down into the hold and start like beginning to unload things, mostly they're crates. But why don't you go ahead and make a perception check? And Tuppence, you can at some point have had an opportunity to get into the hold as well. So you can be there as well. Both of you can kind of make perception checks and see what sort of things you might notice.
I have thieves' tools I'm proficient with.
Yeah.
Can I open one of these things? Do I have,
If you want to just go straight for opening it, sure.
or we can do the perception first and then open it if we are so inclined.
Either way.
I also have a crowbar, so.
However you want to proceed, it's up to you.
Okay. Yeah, we can do perception first. Let's see. That's a 13.
Okay.
And I got a 14.
Okay. So both of you probably notice about the same things as you're down in the hold. Many of these crates, not all of them, but especially some of them towards like the back, actually seem to have like noises coming from within, like scratching noises or tapping noises, things like that. And it's all muffled and quiet, but it seems like something inside some of these crates is moving. And some of these crates also have, various holes and things drilled into them, the same ones that you hear noises coming from.
Okay, is it possible for Tuppence to fly and see what's inside?
You want to squeeze into one?
Well, yeah.
Hang on. Before you do that,
Look in one first. Look in one first.
I was gonna say, yeah. So I'm gonna grab like a piece of debris or something really small, and I'll imbue it with light, and then I'll
okay.
flick that into the. I'll use magical tinkering to make it have light, and then I'll flick that into the thing, and we can look inside.
So what does it look like when you use magical tinkering, since this is the first time we see this ability being used?
Yeah, so Kobold Rook will just reach into his little, he has like, I don't know, a bunch of pockets. He reaches into one of them and he finds a like small like novelty candle or something that's a really like antiquated looking candle, and then he sort of draws some magic out of that and puts it in this little rock and then flicks that inside. So you see this little like wispy transfer of, these like yellow like bright particles go into this little rock or piece of debris or whatever you can find.
This light goes into the crate, and you hear a flurry of like tapping sounds from within the crate when the light goes in. And then Tuppence, you want to take a peek?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Inside, you see it looks like a smaller metal box or like it's like a wireframe metal box, almost like a cage, but it's covered in a blanket, and the light is kind of shining on this blanket.
Okay, I'll go further in and kind of lift the corner.
Okay. Hold on just a second. As you lift up the corner of this
I'm so scared.
this blanket, sort of slowly, you find yourself coming face to face with a creature that is nearly double your size.
A cat.
It looks avian in nature. It's bird-like, but it doesn't have any feathers. It almost has like a smooth grayish skin, but it also has like these spines that kind of come off of its shoulders, and it has wings, but they're kind of leathery, and they have these like pointed talons at the end. It almost looks like a combination, like an amphibian chicken or something like that. It's a very strange looking creature. And as you lift up the thing, its beak like jumps out through one of the gaps in this cage and tries to bite at you. Does a 10 hit your armor class?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Yeah, its jaws clamp shut, but you just managed to beat your little pixie wings enough to get back away from this thing and throw the blanket
Yay.
back down.
Okay, I'm out of there.
Yeah. Rook, you see Tuppence kind of squeeze her way back out of one of these breathing holes.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing I ever saw. Rook. Oh, I don't know it's you though, do I?
I mean, you can no.
Well, I mean, you saw this.
Well,
it's not
full
flick light.
say magic
Yeah,
effect.
yeah. Are you Rook?
Ah.
That was the weirdest thing. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have nightmares. Oh, okay, I gotta get out of here.
Let's see.
Should we look in one
can I
more
do
though?
this? Hold on a second. I'm reading a spell that I have. I'm making sure. I'm seeing if I can do this or
Okay.
not.
You read that. Meanwhile, several streets over, this dockhand is trying to get Elwyn to let her go. Really, really, miss. I am very much enjoying your company, and I would love to accompany you all the way up to the mill house. But it really is. It's on the other side of the city. But I promise, there's a main road. If you just follow that, if you hit the Thrims Gate, you've gone too far. There's an area in sort of the northern sector of the city that there's a lot of inns and taverns around there. But you'll know the mill house. It has kind of like a decorative water wheel on the outside. And if you get lost, it's a really famous place. Anyone else can help you get there. I promise you, you'll be okay. And if you're really okay with it, I'll come by and say hello during your stay sometime. I'd love to. I really would.
I really appreciate that. I do. Now, I'm so sorry, but did you tell me your name?
You know, I wish I'd generated a name for this character while I had all that time. Give me just half a second.
I was just thinking, Ethan has been talking about how much he prepared and over-prepared, and it's like the first name we asked for.
It's Dickory.
Her name is Dickory.
Her
No,
name is Dickory.
that's a joke from another campaign.
Yep.
Let's see. Here we go. There's a dwarf name table. Dwarf. Her name is. We'll say it's Eldith. Eldith Wavefoot. It's Eldith Wavefoot. Yeah,
Now,
I spend
Miss
a lot-
Wavefoot, has anyone ever told you you have the prettiest eyes that I've ever seen in a dwarf?
She kind of like blinks, stunned.
Really? When's the last time you took some time for yourself, Elwyn? Miss Wavefoot.
I mean, it has been a while. The dock works really busy. It's ships in and out constantly, but that's the point.
You
I really
work
like.
so hard. I watched you work in there earlier today. You work so hard. You deserve to have a little bit of time for yourself. Now, why don't you just come back with me to the mill house and I will buy you a drink and we can sit and talk and you can just enjoy a night off. Your little kobold creatures, those cute little things, they have everything under control.
She looks up at the sun to kind of get its position and realizes how long she's been with you. No, I don't think you understand. If I don't get back and something happens, I'm pretty sure I'll get fired.
Oh, I'm sure that won't happen. Don't worry, I can smooth it over with your boss. And I open my bag and start rifling through it. And then I like pretend to gasp and say, "Oh no. Oh no, my room key, it's not here. Oh, you have to help me find it."
I think I need a persuasion check at this point.
Okay.
She is absolutely battling her desire to continue to get to know Elwyn, but it is fighting with her need to get back to work. Otherwise,
Is
she'll
this
be
the
fired.
first roll of the campaign?
No, we had some
we just-
perception checks.
We had one. Oh, that's right. You did have some perception checks.
And a chicken
Okay.
tried to eat Tuppence.
All right. I'm using this giant heavy ass metal die that Nick got for me. I should pull up my character sheet too. Persuasion check. I'm all right at these. And that was a natural 19, so 24.
Yeah, she kind of shakes her head and says, well, she looks up at the sun again. By now, they either got it into the dock or they didn't. And the damage is done either way. Let it never be said that a wavefoot leaves a lady and a guest in town hung out to dry. Let's look for that key.
Oh, thank you so much. You won't regret it. And I will talk to your boss. Don't worry.
I might not have a boss anymore. Yeah, she will kind of help you retrace the steps back to the docks, looking slowly to find your room key.
Which is definitely still in my bag.
Yep.
Best job ever.
Back at the dock crew.
Is that us? Or is that in general?
Well, that's you two and Embers.
Okay.
Embers, nothing much is really happening. They're beginning to unload, so some of these crates are starting to come out. No real sign of your friends, but there hasn't been any sign of danger up to this point. If you want to make a perception check to kind of observe the crates as they come out, go ahead.
Try that. This is fairly observant. That's a dirty 20.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you see the same thing that Tuppence and Rook saw, in that some of the crates have these sort of breathing holes and also seem to make sounds from within as they're being moved. One thing you notice, though, is that the sounds that you hear within don't seem to be from like any sort of unified source. So like some of them are kind of like tapping sounds, some of them are more like it sounds almost like something is like sandpaper rubbing against another piece of sandpaper. Like there's just various sounds you can hear from within these crates. It's not any sort of unified sound.
What do they smell like?
That's a good question. Probably not very good. A lot of them would probably smell like what you'd expect a cage containing an animal would smell like after a several-day voyage. There's going to be lots of smells of animal excrement, so it's probably not pretty smells coming from these crates.
Yeah, I'll just kind of like stand around the waterfront, just kind of like scanning, waiting for Rook and or Tuppence to come back.
Okay. The two of you, more and more people are beginning to come into the section of the hold that you're in and pull crates out of there. What would you like to do?
So, have we been able to review any other crates? Or are they different animals?
So far, you've just been able to see the one, but if
Okay.
you wanted to try and investigate another,
Yeah,
could.
either through like.
I'll,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I think one more just to see if they're the same or different
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So
from our point of
so
view.
Rook will drop the light on that stone that he had there, and then if we want, you can do the same thing with another one. I don't know. Do pixies have dark vision or?
No, I don't.
Okay, so he would flick another rock in there in the same fashion as before to give you
Okay.
light.
At this point, though, since there are more and more people coming in, you kind of have to time your investigation. So could both of you make stealth checks as well?
Sure. I got a 19.
I got a 10.
A 10? Okay. I think, with it's really just kobolds come in here. I think that neither of you really neither of you get seen. You manage to time your investigation such that no one else or no one catches you as you kind of drop the stone with the light on it into the crate, and Tuppence squeezes in once again. Tuppence, it sounds like something is actually this crate is rather quiet. But it's another case where it's like there's some other box-like shape covered by a towel or a blanket or something like that within the crate.
Okay, I'll go lift it again.
Okay. You lift the blanket slowly on this one, and this time instead of like a wireframe cage, it's like a glass tank. And inside, in the light of the stone, you see the coiled form of a snake that is maybe 4 times as long as
Oh
Tuppence,
no.
and it just kind of lazily lifts its head and flicks its tongue at you. Kind of moves its head towards the edge of the glass wall of the tank.
Oh, I'm out of here. Bye. You're on your own. Zoom. I'm gone. I'm gonna fly all the way out of the boat. I'm gonna look for Embers, and I'm gonna land on her shoulder.
Okay. On your way out, you do fly past one of the other kobolds. What languages do you speak?
Common and Sylvan.
Okay. It calls out something to you in a language you don't understand. But Rook, you hear it say in Draconic, "Whoa, hey, you're not supposed to be on here." And then that kobold comes running back in to where you are, Rook, and says, Did you see that? The pixie from the docks? I think she was in here."
And then Rook will just say, "No, I don't know what you're talking about. This was really heavy."
Okay, well, I guess no issue. I'll just, help carry this box out. Here, I'll get the other side. Goes
Time to
over
go.
He tries to pull it up. Oh, it's really heavy.
That's what I'm saying. I can't get it by myself.
Yeah, between a couple kobolds, you managed to get that box out.
Okay. And like as soon as Rook can, he'll like, you take it. And he'll like grab another kobold and
Drops
put
it
him
on
there.
that kobold's
He's like,
feet.
you take this one. I can't. And then he'll go back. I'll get it in a smaller box. And then he goes back in there.
Oh, he's going
And
back in. Okay.
huh?
Going back in. Okay.
Yeah. So I want to try something. So you said there's like holes and stuff. Is there like loose boards? Can I like reach my hand in one of the boxes?
They're pretty well boarded up.
Or
yeah, I mean, you could open one up. You said
Can
you have
I-
a crowbar.
I have a crowbar. Can I like break a little part of one of the panels? And
Sure.
then no? I wanna
Go
try
ahead
something.
if that's what you want to do.
I'm not there.
I
I'm
wanna
not
try
there.
something.
So once again, you kind of time it so when nobody's around.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna try one thing here. So I want to do that. And which animal is it? Is it a new box or is it a different, or is it
It's
one
up
of
to
the
you.
old boxes?
Which one do you want to open?
Because the fish tank one's gone, right? So
Yeah, But there's the original one you went into.
Let's try a new one.
Okay.
What kind of animal is it?
So what do you pry it open with the crowbar? Is
Yeah,
that
I'll
how you do it? Okay.
yeah, just like one of the panels. Try and make as little noise as possible.
It's another sort of wireframe cage wrapped in a blanket. You take the blanket off.
I'll just like use the crowbar to kind of lift the blanket a little bit.
There's actually nothing in this one.
Oh.
And you notice that in the back of the crate, a hole seems to have been chewed in the box.
Hole was chewed in the box. Okay.
Yeah, like in the crate itself. Like something has chewed through the wood of the crate.
Huh. Okay, well that's
And you can tell it's like from the inside out.
yeah, huh. Okay. Well, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time. All right, so I'll go back to the original. What I want to try and do is I want to try and use maybe between animal handling and making some like using some of this what's it called? Tinkering to provide like a maybe like a familiar aroma or odor for them to kind of smell like flowers or something to like calm down a little bit, and use animal handling to calm them down. And then I want to cast a spell on them, but they have to be willing. So
Well, I mean, there's no creature in this box, so you
well,
have to go for
I'm talking
whatever.
about like I'll just go back to the first box then with that bird or whatever it was.
Okay.
That penguin or
Um,
featherless bird.
You do think that now that you've like opened one up, once someone else comes back in here, you're probably going to be in a little bit of trouble. So you've got to be quick.
Okay, I'll be quick.
Okay. So you go and you kind of pry open that box.
Yeah.
And then what was the rest of the
So
plan?
then I want to like put
You
in. I
begin
want
to hear kind of
use
like a squawking sound.
yeah. I want to use like magical tinkering to use like a small piece, like a rock or a piece of like the box that'll emit like an odor that's like fresh flowers and something that I think this bird might be comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to use animal handling to try and approach it and see if it's calm.
Okay.
And then I want to cast a
Roll
spell.
an animal handling check.
Okay. So that's a 16.
Okay. So you create this smell of this aroma of kind of like this nice aroma, and you pull back the blanket and you can see the same creature that Tuppence described. It's this like weird unfeathered chicken creature with these leathery wings and this sharp looking beak. It's not quite as scary as Tuppence described because it's not bigger than you.
Mm-hmm.
However, in your kobold form, it is not too much smaller than you. So it is a large chicken creature.
Okay.
As you kind of make your little hushing sounds or whatever you do for your animal handling.
Yeah, and I
how
can
long
give it
do
like a
you
little bit of
attempt to
food or
approach it?
something.
Yeah.
Like I can break off a piece of like bread or something. I'll like break off a piece and I'll see if that'll
Yeah, you drop that
work
into the
towards
cage.
my handling check
And
or whatever.
It kind of eyes you and it eyes the bread and it kind of does a little head tilt thing and it begins pecking at the bread. And then you can kind of approach slowly.
Okay, so I approach slowly and I cast a spell. And I want to cast Review Memory, which is a first level spell. I don't know how this is going to work on like a bird, but it says you can choose a memory of your own,
I think
or
I created this spell.
I thought it was pretty cool, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take this one. Relive a memory chosen by the target. So but it has to be within the frame of like a week ago, and I'm hoping that if it's like traumatic for it, it would be constantly trying to remembering where it was taken from, if it's being like if it was like poached or if it was like
Yeah, let me look at this
something
spell.
like that.
And resistance in the code is just going to go, hey, Tuppence, everything go okay?
My gosh, that was so scary. Okay, let me calm down.
Scary? What was scary in there?
There was a snake and a big chicken.
Oh, Tuppence, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry you had to see that.
Okay.
Okay.
I wonder where they came from.
So you cast the spell and kind of extend your mind into this chicken creature's memory. trying to think of what memory you might see. As it's kind of pecking at the bread in front of it, your vision switches to sort of the perspective of this creature, and it's really all dark around you. There's not really anything to see or do. You can see like the inside of this blanket, and suddenly there's there's a little bit of light at one of the corners of the blanket, and you kind of cautiously go over to that corner where the light dropped in, and then all of a sudden the corner of the blanket is lifted.
Oh my
and
gosh,
you're
it's
face
just
to
this
face
memory?
with
No, alright,
Tuppence.
so when I realize that, I just break it. I'm like, ah, dang it, that's not what I wanted.
And
then-
it bites up at Tuppence, and then
Yeah.
that's when you break the
Alright, so I'm like, shoot, that's not what I wanted at all. Okay, so then I'll quickly just try and, as more kobolds kind of come in, the boxes go away, I'll be like, okay, I'll be with this one, and I'll slap the corner back together and then call one of the other kobolds to bring this one out.
Okay. As you begin to take out this crate, other ones in the cargo are noticing that one of the boxes was opened, and they begin arguing about who opened it.
By that time, when I take this one out and put it on the dock somewhere, I run around somewhere else.
Okay.
Like a kobold does.
Make a quick stealth check.
Sure.
Is it clear to Embers and Tuppence that you're out?
Tuppence would know that this one is Rook,
Okay.
but Embers would not.
16?
Yeah, okay. So you managed to use the chaos of the docks to just sort of blend into the background and slip away.
Yeah.
This Fire Genasi man with the big muscles and the multi-headed dragon tattoo on his arm is kind of observing the kobolds working, but you manage to time it so that you slip behind crates when he's not looking and then duck away off elsewhere.
Okay. So then I will duck away into some alley or some secluded area, and then I'll shape change back.
And you see Elwyn walk by with this dwarven woman kind of looking closely at the ground.
Yeah, and I'll change clothes real quick back to
You sure
something.
it's not in your
normal.
bag? You're really sure?
Well, I mean, I can check again, but I didn't see it.
Okay, I'll keep looking over here. You just go through your bag one more time, just to be safe.
All right. And I will pretend to look through my bag, but I'm going to look and see if I can find Embers and see if I can get like a signal or something. Like, are we good?
Yeah, Embers is just kind of looking around for you or for Rook. So it's pretty easy to make eye contact. And Embers will just kind of pat Tuppence once on the head and nod and walk off.
Okay. In that case, I will start laughing. It's like, would you believe it? It's been in my bag the whole time.
She turns around at you and she looks like her mouth is agape. But then she quickly gets a hold of herself, closes the mouth and says, "Oh, that's great.
I am so sorry
Thank
about
goodness.
that. Miss
I'm
Whitefoot, you have
so
been nothing
happy
but
for
accommodating.
you."
Silly me, this kind of thing happens to me all the time. I apologize.
Well, I'm just glad you found it. I'm gonna get back now that we're really close to the docks. I'm just gonna head
Yeah,
back
it looks like the ship is in.
Yeah,
And I
thank
kind of
goodness.
point over her shoulder at the chaos.
Yep, and she just kind of gives you one last wave and says, "Maybe I'll come
Hey.
by."
I'll buy you a drink next time, all right?
She just kind of nods, turns her head and walks
Bye.
away.
Thank you again. And I hurry over to Embers.
What was
and
that
Rook,
about?
You would spot them as well.
That's what I like to call a very flirtatious distraction. Used to
Worked
work all
well.
the time back home.
Yeah, worked here too. You seen Rook?
No, I've been off somewhere else. This is a big place.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Tuppence. How'd it
Did I-
go? Uh-oh.
There are like weird beasts in the cages. What do you think they're gonna do with them?
Well, I suppose that depends on where they're going to next, doesn't it?
The one last thing I guess you guys would see as you're all regrouping up is that the kobolds begin putting the unloaded boxes onto carts, which are then drawn off elsewhere.
Yeah, I think as Rook is sort of shape changing and he's like kind of like still near the scene, he would want to see who's coming to pick up this cargo. If they have like insignias or some, name associated with, or some people, their faces.
It's so a couple more people in these sort of in robes very similar to the fire genasi show up. Just some of them dwarves, some of them other genasi, some of them there's maybe a Goliath or two. One of them might be a human. They come with these carts, these like horse-drawn carts that the crates then get loaded up onto and taken away. The one interesting thing is none of the robes, though the robes are all like similar style, like these lightweight sleeveless robes. And all of these people who come to pick up the crates are also like similarly well muscled, not like buff, but very well toned sort of thing. They're not all wearing the robes aren't all like the same color or anything. There's various colors. There's like red ones, green ones, black ones. So they're all similar style, but like different colored.
Okay.
And yeah, they put they get the kobolds to load these crates up onto the carts. You can see the fire genasi man has a very heated conversation with Miss Wavefoot as she returns to the docks. She's very much just apologizing profusely.
Oh, I hope she doesn't lose her job.
I think it'd be good if she did. She could find a better one then.
Yeah, you might be right. Maybe she could go on a couple of missions with us.
Maybe so.
As easily as distracted as she was? What?
Well, can you blame her?
So, but there's no like, coat of arms or any obvious connection with these things. Okay, I mean that's good to know. If there's nothing, all right. Once Rook's satisfied with that level of intel, then I think he'll look for the others.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy enough to spot your group meeting up in the streets a little ways away from the docks. So,
okay, so he'll kind of dust off a little bit as he approaches everybody and kind of wipe off a bunch of the,
What form have you taken now?
He's back to the one that you saw him before.
But for our
yeah, so he is
viewers and listeners who have never met you before.
He's like a blonde half-elf looking character. That's the form that he takes. Yeah.
he wears like glasses, right?
Yeah, he wears glasses. He's wearing like just sort of mundane, normal clothes, nothing like fancy or special. And then yeah. That stuff.
It is kind of a bright day, so I think Rook would kind of be squinting a little bit.
Yeah. So
Me too.
He kind of like covers his eyes a little bit from the sun, and he's like, well, I think that was pretty successful.
Thanks,
Ethan.
Rook.
Mm-hmm.
Embers probably saw the fire genasi like foreman, right?
Sorry, doing what?
He just saw him around.
Yeah.
Would I be able to make a check to see if I could recognize the tattoo?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
I guess it'd be like a history. Yeah, or if you had another idea for what sort of check.
History's good with me.
That's right. Embers is pretty good at history, huh?
12.
12. It's hard to say because the Stratian Empire, there's a lot of things that revolve around, dragon lore.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was like this multi-headed dragon, but that could tie into like any number of different uh, folklore stories or facets of history from this country. It's a little ambiguous because it was just kind of like an incline thing, so there wasn't a lot of detail to it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Well, should
now
we,
that I'm not so scared, that was kind of fun, wasn't it, Rick?
Yeah. Thanks for leaving me back there.
shall we head back to the mill house before we exchange information?
Okay.
Seems smart.
Yeah.
It is about lunchtime, so you would imagine that the owner of the tavern, Nora, who you've met many times, probably has a good stew or something else ready for people who come in for the lunch hour. So you just want to head back that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you make your way from the southern edge of the city all the way across to the northern edge, which is where the mill house is. It's a long trek, but like I said, it's kind of a warm early spring day. So I guess it's still kind of a little chilly, but it's that sort of bright spring sunlight that you occasionally get in between rainfalls. The city itself is very much coming alive, like people who have planter boxes outside of their houses. You can see flowers and vegetables and things that are growing in the soil beginning to pop up out of the dirt. Any snowfall that had covered the city has melted away at this point. It probably still is outside the city on the tundras and things like that. As you walk through the city, you see kind of a lot of what is becoming familiar architecture. Much of the city is new, or at least not terribly old, but there are parts of the city that you walk past that are remnants of the ancient city that was here before Port Horizonshroud was even built. And you can tell those bits apart because they are always made from like right angle cut stone and like massive bits of stone at that, because the way that the history is told, this was originally a giant city. And so a lot of the structures are massively large, those that remain. And so occasionally there's like town squares built around a like huge stone pillar that would have been part of some structure that was here in ancient times. And now that pillar is all that's left. So you see things like that as you walk through the city. But eventually you come to the area where the mill house is stationed, which has a lot of kind of inns and taverns in it. And you wind your way down the familiar streets until you find yourself in front of the building itself. And I think I have a description here somewhere. Give me just a second. Let's see. It's sort of this two-story inn located in the northern part of the city, really not far from the northern gate, which is known as the Thrym's Gate. There's this decorative watermill on the left side of the inn itself that churns through a pool at its base, but it isn't, from being inside that it's not actually really connected to anything. It is just there purely for decoration. And there are, coming off of the second story, which you could see sort of from the second story windows of the rooms, there are these these four spokes with mill sails on them that turn along with the wind. And there's a little bit of a breeze, so it's kind of turning gently. However, there is something unusual as you approach the tavern itself. A couple of familiar figures are sitting outside on sort of like the front porch area of the inn. It looks like Nora Froth Tankard, the owner of the tavern, has pulled a pair of chairs out from the tavern itself and is sitting in one of them with a cat on her lap. And she is this sort of dark-skinned dwarven woman with sort of shoulder-length black glossy hair that is dyed like honey gold right at the tips. And she has these like kind, really kind eyes. That's really what most people notice about her first, is that she just has very warm and welcoming gaze to her. And she has kind of a piercing above her left eyebrow. Sitting on her lap is a kind of orange and white striped cat, who the group of you have seen coming and going from the tavern. It doesn't actually live there, but everyone at the tavern calls it Gin, Gin, like the alcohol. And it just kind of comes and goes from the tavern. Nora usually puts out like some milk and food for it, or like, extra fish scraps if she's got them. So it's sitting on her lap and she's petting it, and it seems to be asleep, kind of enjoying the sun. Sitting quietly and just kind of looking back and forth, almost anxiously, in the other chair that's been brought out is a purple scaled kobold with kind of blue and black spots on some of those scales. And you know this to be Tess. She never really says anything, so seeing her kind of sitting here quietly, just looking around, is not out of character at all. And then the final creature that you see sitting on the porch is kind of up on a railing, basking in the sun, laying on its back with its sizable belly exposed to the sunlight. You recognize this sort of maybe like 2 feet long, 20-pound-ish, tiny miniature dragon with sort of like greenish scales that have kind of amber and cream highlights to them. And his eyes, which are normally sort of this glittering green color, are closed as he's just kind of snoring there in the sunlight. And as Nora sees the group of you approaching, she kind of waves to you and says, "Oh, hello! Hello, friends!"
Hi, Nora.
Hello.
Well, I'm really sorry to say, but our tavern's it's unfortunately closed for the day. I had to close it after you guys left for the morning.
Why is that?
She kind of looks to the ground next to her, where there's actually a tarp covering some kind of lump. But we had a little bit of an incident.
What's
Go
that?
on.
What happened?
Okay, don't get too freaked out. The worms will deal with this. This isn't anything we have to worry about. It's just a matter of time until, they're able to come. It might be a day or two. They're pretty busy. And the group of you have heard this slang since arriving in the Stratian Empire. The worms is what, as in like WORMS, not WY.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought it was WY.
Is what people, or some people, call the Imperial Wardens, who are kind of like the city watch within Imperial cities. It is not an endearing term. So you can kind of usually gauge someone's attitude towards the city watch based on whether they call them worms or wardens. The history behind it, which Embers would know, being kind of a history buff, is that they used to be called the Worm Wardens with a Y, but people who took issue with the way that they executed their power took to calling them just worms, and so they changed it to Imperial Wardens, but the name stuck, and there was nothing they could do about it. So anyways, she says the worms will get to it eventually. It's just a matter of when they deem it important enough.
I think Embers like tenses up and says, "The worms are coming here."
Well, unless I mean, yeah, I can't put any of my patrons in danger with, the situation we have on hand. Anyways, don't get too freaked out. Jin's all right, and she kind of motions to the cat, but she flips up the tarp, and underneath the tarp is Jin. It looks like an identical copy of this orange and white cat, but it is unmoving.
Wait, so there's two
Uh,
cats now?
Yeah, there's Jin, which is sitting on Nora's lap, kind
Uh-huh.
of curled up and purring, and there is an identical copy, like the exact same markings, lying motionless under this tarp.
If that's Jin, then who is that?
Tonic.
Poor kitty.
Not Jin, and don't worry. You ever, group of you ever been anywhere north of here?
Once or twice.
Yeah, a
No.
little bit.
Well, then surely you've heard of doppelrats, dangerous creatures. And again, I guess Embers and Rook being the people from around here, you could make a history or arcana,
Okay.
maybe even a nature check.
That's
Depending
12
on
for
what
me
you would do.
on that history check.
I got a 16 on Arcana.
Okay. Both of you would know different things about doppelrats. What Embers would know is that they are rare creatures, particularly in this part of the world. They tend to live more north of here in areas like Ardelir or Nearest, which is actually where I think Embers is from. They appear like rats, but they're actually, in factuality, a very distinct type of. They're not even a beast at all. They were a failed arcane experiment or something like that. You don't know the exact history of their origins, but whenever they crop up, they can tend to create painful experiences for those who encounter them. That's what you would know. Rook, you rolled Arcana, right? And you rolled a 16?
16.
Okay. Then what you would know, I think, with that, is that they are part of a subset of creatures. I say creatures when they're actually not like beasts or anything like that. That have sort of been altered magically, and a lot of them tend to originate, or so most people believe, from an area of the continent called the Spellscar Desert, which is kind of that big desert right in the center of the continent.
Okay. And
And you would know that
Mhm.
there's all kinds of weird things that go on with magic up in that desert. So it makes sense that that's kind of like the origin point for creatures like this, which are sort of beast-like, but not beasts at all.
Between the two of us, would we know, how dangerous they are, or in comparison to what maybe our abilities are?
Yeah, I think both of you would know they carry a dangerous disease, but you might not know the details of that disease.
I think Embers would just nod and said, yeah, they're trouble.
Yeah, well, apparently one got loose in the tavern, and I don't even know where it came from. I don't think I've ever heard of one in Port Horizonshroud, but yeah, Jin got adventurous and had a little run-in with it, and seems to have contracted that nasty disease they carry because, well, we found this this morning when I went down to the cellars to get some extra stock to bring back up to the bar. And she gestures to the lifeless body.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not the rat. That's
No, and it's not Jin either. It's just the rats carry a disease, and if you get bit by them, they cause you to painfully. She kind of like tries to pick her words carefully.
Created
painfully
a doppelganger
generate-
of yourself.
Yeah. Anyways, they're not alive or anything like that, and they never were. But it's not a pleasant process for the person who's contracted the disease.
Is
So
Jin
that-
going to be okay?
Oh yeah.
It's not going to happen again.
No, Jin's perfectly fine. She's just probably going to be afraid of rats for a little bit now, I'd assume.
Well, that's good.
And you can see that the cat is like happily purring in the sunbeam on Nora's lap, so she seems fine.
Rook,
Yeah. What's up, Embers?
do you think that we can get rid of this rat problem before the worms arrive? I don't want the worms to come where I live.
I was actually just going to suggest that myself. I think that maybe we can help with this.
The tiny dragon that was relaxing on the railing with its belly up rolls over, and it opens its glittering green eyes and looks at you and says, "Now you all read my mind. I was just thinking you might be just the group for something like this." And it looks over at Nora and says, "You know how those guards are. It might take them ages to get to something like this." And Nora kind of looks skeptically at this dragon, which you know is named Malt. And then she looks to the group of you and says, "Well, if you're willing to risk the pain and suffering that comes with sloughing off a stillborn clone, I'm not going to say no. I can pay you. Here, how about this? You clear out this rat and get me back in business, and room and board is on me for, let's say, a month for the lot of you."
Sounds like a good deal to me.
Sounds like a great deal.
Yeah, it looks like she's doing some mental calculation, and she goes, 8 argents per day. Let's see, there's 4 of you. Yeah, that seems like a total of like about 128 aurum value. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Malt, you have some skin in this too, don't you? This is kind of your place too, right?
He kind of looks at you with one of those big glittering eyes and says, "Yes."
So how about when we're looking at jobs, we get first pick for a little while too?
Roll a persuasion check.
Okay. Well, I'm not very good at persuasion, but let's see. Oh, natural 20 though. That's pretty good. That's 23.
Nice.
Okay. He looks at you and says, "Very well. I had another one lined up for you after you returned from this, but, well, I'll give you a few options."
Rook will nod. Yeah, I think we can give it a shot.
And he looks, the Malt looks at Tuppence, and this creature is not too much bigger than Tuppence, actually, compared to many of the other creatures you interact with, but he fixes you with a stern glare and says, "Now, I don't want to find that any of my treasures gone missing when I get back in there."
Fine. Won't lift a finger.
Well, you better if you're gonna help us.
Careful what you ask for, Vert. You remember the last, not Vert, Rook. You remember the last time that
It's bound to
happened.
happen one of these days. Yeah, that was an arm,
Hunter?
not a finger.
Xanth?
Yeah, who
Who?
are those people?
Yeah. Who are you?
This person.
As long as she just lift her whole arm, I think I'll be okay.
You remember the last time you challenged her strength.
Yeah, that will be the last time. Next time
I'll never
I'll
forget
hire
that.
Embers.
That was so funny.
It was pretty good.
Malt just kind of chuckles.
Quiet you. I don't hear it. I let her win.
Uh-huh.
Nora shakes her head and says, "I seriously doubt that, but listen, if you can clear out the rat, I think it is just the one, at least until it doppels. So, yeah, if you can do that, that'd be a huge favor to me. I'd really appreciate it.
Well, I suppose you'll have to let us into the mill house then if we're going to take on this job.
Yeah, she gestures to the door and says, "Well, it's unlocked. I mean, locking it's not going to keep a rat in. I just closed it." So,
Well, all right.
and Embers, as you kind of step up in that direction, the kobold Tess reaches out silently, kind of grabs your arm, and looks up at you. And she just kind of like with wide eyes shakes her head a little bit at you, side to side,
Embers shrugs, said, "Sorry, gotta."
and she lets go reluctantly.
All right, I'm gonna go inside.
Okay.
Yep.
Would you guys hop over to roll 20, please?
Okay.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Please
All
roll
right.
20.
Please work. It worked.
Hey, look at
Can
that.
you guys now
Yay.
see a tavern?
Yeah,
Yes.
this is a nice map. This is a good map.
I built this map.
This is amazing.
I
Nice.
bought
Look
I
at
bought
that.
a little sprite set and I put it all together.
Oh,
Aww.
There's even a roaring fire.
Yeah.
Aww.
Oh,
You guys should not be able to see past these doors over here.
Correct.
I've attempted to put in areas of
Fog of
darkness that you
war.
can't see by. Okay,
Fog of war.
and you can't see past this wall over here.
Correct.
Perfect. Everything
I
worked
can.
out as intended.
I can't.
You can?
I
He
can't.
can't. He can't.
No. No. You're good.
All right.
It is
Um,
interesting though.
He's
As the
messing
group
with
of you step in, and you can kind of position yourselves there by the door, however you would like. I put you how I imagined you might position yourselves, but you can move around if Embers shouldn't be in front or what have you. As you step in, there you hear a squeak coming from the bar area, and there is a large rat, like one of those really big city rats, up on the bar counter. And its eyes snap towards you, these beady little red eyes. And it seems to be like it was in the middle of enjoying the leftovers of someone's breakfast who had to vacate suddenly when the doppled cat body was found. And as it sees the group of you, you watch as, with like a popping sound, like two other rats appear at its sides,
Oh goodness.
and they scatter. One of them hops behind the bar. One of them runs over towards this stage area over here to the left of the bar.
mhm.
And then one of them makes its way over to a table over here. And I'll hide the one that goes behind the bar. And let's roll initiative.
Okay.
All right.
I'm so excited.
First
combat.
fight.
First combat.
I've been really excited about this one. I think it's going to be fun.
with rats. That's cute.
Oh no. Oh no. I rolled a natural 1.
Oh boy. All right. How did Embers do?
9.
Okay. And Elwyn?
2.
Nice. Tuppence?
12.
12. And Rook?
9.
Okay. I don't know if it will automatically put you in Dex order.
Well,
when
I mean,
hit start,
Embers
but let's
wins.
find out. Okay. Well, I guess maybe surprising no one. This rat moves first.
What? That's not right.
Yeah. Let's see. How do they move? They've got. Oops, I need to be on the right layer. That's the problem. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'll move the one behind the counter as well. Okay. That is the rat's turn. They really just move. They just continue to scatter. The other thing that happens, let me just double check exactly how their doubling works. Okay. That's how it works. Another one appears where this one started and where this one started.
No.
Oh no.
Mm.
So now there are 4 rats visible and one ducked behind the counter. Okay. That is their turn. And then it is Tuppence. What would you like to do?
I think with the one in front of the fire right there in front of me, I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers on.
Okay. What do I need to do for Dissonant Whispers? How does that work?
I whisper a discordant melody that only that creature can hear, racking it with terrible pain. It must make a wisdom saving throw. And the DC is 13.
Okay. Well, I don't think these rats are super wise, so we'll see how this goes. Yeah, that's a failure.
Yay! Okay. Let me mark that down.
So what does it look like when Tuppence casts magic? This is, I think, the first time we're seeing her use a spell.
Well, my magic comes from my music. So I imagine I think I'm going to grab out my pan flute because it was my mom's, and I'm going to whistle a terrible melody.
Lots of
And
minors and things like that.
yeah. All right. So it's going to be 13 psychic damage.
That rat kind of just where it is running in your direction keels over at the sound of the music. Like its ears perk up and it just falls over.
Whoa.
13 is huge for a level
That's a
1
lot.
character.
Yeah.
Well, it's 3d6. I'm reading it right.
Yeah, it's a level 1
Wow.
spell, so.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
First trophy. If I can remember how to put the X on it. No.
It's an affliction. It's the little bubble.
There we go. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still think I'm weak, Rick.
Embers, you're up next.
That wasn't a show of strength.
Go away. Wiggle my foot at Rick.
Strength comes in many forms, you know.
You're not the only one who can use magic around here.
I was just gonna come around this table
Mhm.
and strike at the rat. Let's see. Yeah, does a 15? Does a 15 hit? No, that's 17. I mean,
Yeah, 17 and a 15, either one would have hit.
okay. For 8 damage.
Okie dokie. This rat also just kind of it seems like as you punch into it, it seems like it's not like, I mean, it's almost like squishy. It's not
Oh,
like an
dear.
actual rat, right?
Mhm.
And it just goes limp as well. Like it's not like a fully formed creature with like a bone structure or anything
So
like that.
those
It
are
just really
just-
looks like one.
Yeah.
Those are just the fakes.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't tell which one's real.
I think it must be that one, and it'll point towards the one that's, forward from where we are.
Okay.
I guess the one that's left.
I guess this one is technically hidden behind the counter. My bad.
That's it for me.
Okay. Rook, you're up.
Rook will take out his light crossbow and load it and fire it.
Sure. What's the range on that?
80, 320.
Okay, so from where you are going to be long range. It looks like across
He's
the
gonna
cabin.
shoot the one that's closest to
Oh.
us.
Right, easy.
Yeah. Or what? How far is that one actually?
That one's like 30 feet away.
What's the? Let me see this other one. This one is.
The conjure.
Oh, 80? Okay, so I'd have to move up a little bit if I wanted to shoot that one, I see. Yeah, so let's try and take that one out. That is a 16 to hit.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's a D8. That is 3.
3. For the first time one of these creatures survives, it has this crossbow bolt sticking out of it at kind of a weird angle. It doesn't seem too bothered by it though. It squeaks a little bit, but
So that one's not real. Is there blood?
yeah, a little bit of liquid would pool out of it.
Okay. Maybe that one's not real either. All right, let's try a different one.
Are you able to fire again?
No, but I will move my movement towards Embers for here.
Okay, kind of step over the
Yeah.
one that she punched. Elwyn. Natural 1 Elwyn.
That's not going to be my nickname this whole campaign.
Natural
Please do
1
not do that.
Elwyn. All right.
No. All right. I'm going to look at the one that Rook attacked and hold out my hand and cast Frostbite.
Okay. What do I need
So
to do?
it's a con saving throw.
Okay. I did roll high. I have a total of 19.
Yeah, that passes. So basically Frost will cover its body, but then nothing happens because that's
Yeah.
my lot in life.
As the frost beam goes by the fireplace, kind of the heat warms it up a little bit, and it just doesn't seem to have the actual bite by the time it gets to the rat.
Yeah, all right. Well, I tried. And I'm going to head in this direction. I'll probably go right there. Was that 30 feet, I think?
Looks good.
Ish.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still on Ember's shoulder.
Oh, you wanted to kind of ride on embers?
Yeah.
And
If she's okay with it.
Yeah, that's totally cool with me.
as I run past Embers and Tuppence and Rook, I'll say, I think the real one's probably behind that counter.
Yeah, I think it's that one too.
And that's my turn.
Okay. Then we are back up to the rats. Another one appears here. Another one appears. Well, actually, how many are there? Hold on. I got to count first. There's 1, 2. Okay. I just need to that one there. And okay. These ones double. One of them runs up the stairs and out of sight. This one will go 5, 10, 15, 20 to Elwyn.
Oh, dear. Well, hello, handsome.
And then, okay, and one of them comes out from behind the bar. And goes to about there. Let's see. The one that is next to Elwyn will try and bite at her. It's another good roll. 22 to hit.
Of course it is.
You
You have a long history of rolling really well against me and
Yeah,
crap
I know.
against everyone else.
You take 1 piercing damage.
Cool.
Yep. Then it is Tuppence's turn. What would you like to do?
Okay, I'm going to fly towards the one that just came out from the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And let's try Dissonant Whispers one more time.
How far do you want to go in that direction? You can just move Tuppence.
let's see, let's see. I'm going to come kind of up here by the bar. It's a 60-foot range on the spell.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's plenty of space.
Okay. All right. So
How
DC,
high is Tuppence hovering above the ground?
I'm going to be pretty much close to the ceiling.
Oh, okay. Then you can see over the bar, so I will reveal what's over there. There is another rat in that direction.
Hit that one.
Uh,
Hit the one
so
behind the bar, Tuppence.
yeah. So can I change my spell since I see it?
Yeah.
Since I flew up?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So it's a wisdom save.
Okay.
13.
I don't think that succeeds. 9 plus. Nope, that's a failure. What happens to this rat? What spell is this?
It's the Dissonant Whispers again. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
3d6 again, psychic damage. And that is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
This one also, its ears perk up and then it falls over.
Okay. So it wasn't the one, I guess. So I'll yell at Rook. Not the one behind the counter. I mean,
Oh,
Elwyn.
shoot.
Not the one behind the
From your
counter.
vantage point, though, make a perception check.
A big fat 7.
7. Yeah, you're looking around and you don't see any other rats behind the counter, unfortunately. You don't spot anything else.
Okay.
Then it is Embers again.
Embers is going to move forward and briefly gets on all fours as she traverses a ludicrous amount of distance in one turn, just like
Yeah.
lightning across the thing, and ends snapping with her claws at this one.
That's the Tabaxi ability?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I forgot to do my bonus
24
action. Shoot. Have to
To
get better
hit.
at
Turn
that.
to your bonus action in a second. Yes, that hits.
and 6 damage.
Your claws cut through this one as well. Melissa, what did you say you had a bonus action you wanted to do?
Yeah, I have Bardic Inspiration that I was going to do, but I'm going to give it to Elwyn. I'm going to say, because I talked to her. It's not behind the counter, but Elwyn, you can do it. I believe in you, sweetie.
So
Come
cute.
on, honey.
My turn's over.
Thanks, sugar.
Then it is Rook.
Okay. Yeah, I think Rook will. Rook's gonna go towards the center of the room, so he's gonna go right there. And are the clones or whatever, are they making like sounds? Are they like, is it hard to distinguish if they're like real rats?
Yeah,
I'd like to roll like a
'cause they make-
perception
they
or
make-
something.
You can do that, but they do make like squeaking noises and things like that. To all appearances, until you like actually interact with them, they seem like real
Okay.
rats. But you can make a perception check and see
Just
if
to
you
like
can.
try and figure out.
Yeah, there is a mechanic
Okay.
here as to how identifying the real rat works.
I got a dirty 20.
good.
So yeah, distinguishing either if there's like differences or if there's like if I can hear something but not see something.
Okay. So as you look closely at them, you notice that there is one thing that the original had that none of the ones that you can see right now, like none of them, have, which is it had the crumbs and
Oh,
like
okay.
leftover bits
Yeah.
of food on its mouth from pigging out in this tavern all morning, and none of the rats in your view have that. So you don't think the real rat is in your line of sight.
Okay.
Right now.
So then all of us quickly shout out and say, "None of these have crumbs on their faces. They're not real."
Well, we still gotta get rid of them.
No, I think we just have to get rid of the one. Just the one that creates them.
Better safe than sorry.
Okay. And that's, I think, my turn.
Okay. Elwyn.
All right. Well, I've got a dagger in my belt that I'm gonna pull out, and I'm going to attack this motherfucker with the dagger.
All right.
That's a 15.
That hits.
Nice. All right.
I don't know why I sounded so surprised. It hits.
Thanks, jerk.
Um,
That is 3 damage.
That's enough. This one had a crossbow bolt sticking out of it from when Rook shot it. So the dagger kind of squishes into it. Clearly, it doesn't feel like a real creature. This one's definitely a fake, but that is the end of that one.
All right. Then I'll kind of slide the dagger back into my belt and say, "It bit me. Do you think I'm gonna get sick too?"
Oh, Lord.
And I'm going to, let's see. I saw one go upstairs.
Did that would have breadcrumbs?
I don't know.
Looking at the time.
Looking at the time.
Oh no, I mean like at the moment you were not looking.
Oh,
With
yeah.
mouth to see if
Yeah, I'm gonna head towards the stairs. I'll go check. Y'all got it here, right? You're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, that's my turn.
Okay. Then it's the rats again. And I'm gonna need to personally go upstairs real quick on my map. So hold on just a second while I do stuff over here.
We'll wait for you down here.
Sing us another song, Tuppence.
Yeah, the reason that I'm on Ember's shoulders is I only have a 10-foot walking speed.
Yeah, but you're flying. You can
I
use your
know.
fly speed.
I know, I am now, but I was just taking a break. Plus, I love her fur. Love it.
It's real soft.
Very clean.
So cozy.
It's clean now. Not so much when we first met you.
It was clean then too.
Uh-huh. Oh my gosh.
Okay, and then there we go. Everything has moved. So now there are 2 of these rats next to both Embers and Rook, but only one of them gets to attack this turn of the pair on each of you. So let's see. We'll do Rook first here. That's a 20 to hit Rook. This thing kind of bites at your ankle and gets its teeth into your skin. You take 1 point of piercing damage.
Okay.
Embers, I only rolled a 2, so 7. I assume doesn't do it.
No, that does not do it.
Yeah. So Embers, you manage to dance out of the way as this rat tries to nip at your heels. Okay, that's the rats. Tuppence.
Okay. Do I want to read these or do I want to? I think I'm going to. I guess I better help one of them. All right, let's shoot a dart at the closest one to me.
Okay, that one by Rook.
By Rook. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And there is a dartboard somewhere in this bar that Tuppence has gotten lots of good practice on with these.
Okay. Ooh, 17 plus 4 is it 21 to hit?
Hits. Absolutely.
Okay, 1d4. Where are you? Okay, please be good. Pew! It's a 5.
A 5 on a 1d4. No, I know. With the bonus.
Wow.
The dart thuds into this thing and kind of pins it to the floor, and it stops moving.
Bullseye.
Anything else from Tuppence? Bonus actions? Movement?
I don't think we need another bardic inspiration for these. So that's it.
Okay. Embers.
All right, I'm gonna attack one of the ones next to me. Does a 16 hit?
It does.
All right, that's 6 damage. Bonus action,
that
I
one
will
stops
attack
moving.
again. For a 19 to hit and a 7 damage.
Both of those rats next to you stop moving as you kind of thud into them, and then you're met with that same weird squishy resistance of the fake rats.
Yeah. Then Embers is going to move, let's see, up to this door. Just kind of like vaulting over the counter as she goes, and opens this door.
Okay. Now here's the real test. Can I actually remove the fog of war that I set? I think I can.
Drum roll. Yay!
I
Hey.
think that's about what you'd be able to see. And you can see another one of these rats is feasting on some food that was left over in this sort of like kitchen prep area in the back.
Do we
Okay.
hear food, 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 food? Nope. Hungry, 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 hungry.
This must be therapeutic, though, for you, Nick, killing a bunch of rats after campaign 1.
It is nice.
Yes.
Yeah, you see
I'll
one.
tell you, it's nice having multi-attack out of the gate, more or less, with a bonus action attack.
Very true. Anything else from members?
Nope, that's it. I've moved and have
Then it
bonus
is
action and I've
Rook.
acted.
Does Ember say anything about?
Yeah, I think she'd say there's one feasting here, but I don't know if it's the original feast or a new one.
Okay. Yeah, Rook doesn't have a melee weapon, so I think he's gonna take the disengage action and walk away.
Okay. Where would you like to go?
Towards Embers.
So you want to kind of like slide over the bar? That's
Yep.
no problem.
Yeah.
It's a high bar, but with the stools there, you can kind of hop over easy enough.
It's a high bar.
I know. That's what I was thinking. Limbo time.
Easy. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Elwyn. You want to make your
All
way
right.
upstairs?
Before I go,
We'd all fail.
how much movement is it just to peek upstairs? 15? 10?
Yeah, I'd say like 10 feet.
10 feet? All right. I'm just going to peek my head upstairs real quick.
Okay. I will move the players over to. Oops, that's the basement. Don't mind that.
Oh,
We saw
Didn't-
nothing.
didn't see
We saw
anything.
nothing.
don't know what that was.
Okay. Here's what you would see as you kind of come out of the stairway. You can see
Okay.
2 rats in a hallway.
Do it.
Along the hallway are doors leading into rooms. One of these rooms would be the one where the group of you would be staying.
Cool. Do either of them have crumbs on their face?
You want to make a perception check?
Sure. That's not good. That's very low. That's not great.
Oh, you have Bark Inspiration.
You do.
I do. Thank you for reminding me. I will use that. Is that a D6?
Yeah.
6. Okay. Oh, okay. I mean, it's still not great. It's but it's better than it was. That is 13.
13.
Be strange if it wasn't.
A quick glance, just looking down the hallway at these things that are now scurrying away from you, you can't tell.
All right. Well, in that case, I will why the hell not? I will frostbite the one closest to me.
Okay, and you said it's a con save for that?
Yes. Con save.
Well, it was a fluke. It failed the first time. Or succeeded the first time. It fails this time.
Good. So I get 1d6 cold damage, and now it has disadvantage on its next weapon attack roll that it makes before the end of its turn.
Okay. We'll see if it survives
That's
first.
4 cold damage.
That one freezes in place.
Nice.
Turns into a ratsicle.
So it just this frost just forms on its body.
Don't lick it, Elwyn. It's probably not good for you.
You don't have to tell me that. I grew up in the Arctic.
And then it is the rats again. We'll do the ones upstairs first. This one doubles. One of the rats slides under the doorway into a room you cannot see.
Oh dear.
This one...
Rats.
It's bound to happen.
I can't believe that Mom didn't make that joke already.
Well, I was saving my limbo joke. We all failed because we already ran into the bar. Nobody won. We're terrible at limbo.
Let's see. Just so that I remember that should be there. Oop. And...
Is Matcha playing with their food?
Probably. Okay. This one that was feasting on the table goes 5, 10, 15, 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. Comes running up to Embers. This one here runs out of sight.
Ah.
And another one comes into sight from under the tables over to there.
Oh my gosh.
None of them are able to make attacks this round, though, because they had to use movement to get to you. So,
okay.
That is the rat's turn. Tuppence, what would you like to do?
Attack the one that was feasting. Let me see. How far away am I from it? Close enough to throw a dart.
I don't think that was the one that was feasting, right?
Did
that one run away? Did that one?
Yeah.
One of them
No,
ran away.
The one that was feasting came up to Embers.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I never moved these two. Okay. Well, I'm going to move these two really quick, but they don't actually move in position much. They basically run over to the wall, climb up the wall, get on one of the rafters, and start heading towards Tuppence. So, sorry, I forgot to move those two.
Okay.
Anyways,
so
what
dart.
would you like to do? Dart?
The dart on the one. Okay. 18 plus 4, 22.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another 5.
Well, that's another one of these that bites the dust.
Boy, we've already killed a lot of not rats in a very short time.
Anything else from Tuppence? Movement, bonus
Pesky
actions?
things. So if they're moving toward me, I'm going to move a little bit. Let's see. Those are all down. Let's move back up here by the other guys.
Okay.
Because that one's killed now.
Then it is Embers.
Embers will come down here and attack. Does a 15 hit?
It does.
All right. Max damage of 9.
Okay. This one, again, you kind of pound it into a little pulp, and it just is not an actual creature. Oh, but I will reveal more of what you can see now.
Yeah, and what can I see?
Just scroll up the map. There we go. So you can see a doorway going off to the left there. There's a roaring fireplace with a kettle on it. And then you can see 2 more rats, one over in the corner by some barrels, and one of them looks like it's trying to crawl under the crack in the door to the left.
Okay. I'll just call out 2 more.
Okay. Rook.
Rook will load another bolt in the crossbow, stand alongside Tuppence, and take a shot at the one trying to crawl under the door.
Go for it.
That is an 18 to hit.
That hits.
That is a... Ooh, max damage. It's 9 damage.
Hold on, that will do the trick. I just need to do one thing real quick. I'm on a different layer of the map. Okay.
Ethan's on a whole different level.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crossbow bolt, you said 9 damage?
Yeah.
That pins this one to the floor and it stops moving.
All right. Just one then.
And Elwyn, we'll go back upstairs for you.
Oh boy.
Guess I should have moved Elwyn off of this layer. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. Second floor, not the basement.
Oh boy.
Okay. So yeah, you saw one wriggle under this door here.
Mm-hmm.
But you also see one going down the hallway.
Okay, well, I very quickly realized that I alone am not enough to quell these by myself, because if I take one out, there's another one that's just going to duplicate, and yeah, they're duplicating faster than I can keep up with. So I'm just going to go back down the stairs
Nice.
and be like, yeah, I'll get someone to help me with this. Go back downstairs. Right after you took me off of this layer.
It's okay. They're easy enough to put back. There you go.
Cool. And then, let's see, I'm not sure how much movement I have left.
Say you've got, say you use 10 to get back down. So
Okay.
20,
So,
and then if you dash another
1,
30.
2, 3. I think that might be enough. Yeah, that's enough. I'm going to cast Ice Knife.
Ice Knife.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I basically will flourish my hand and create a shard of ice, and I will shoot it towards one of these two rat idiots. And I have to make a ranged spell attack. Oh, that's pretty good. What is my bonus to hit? +5, so 16 to hit.
Hits.
All right, so that one takes, click cast here, 1d10 piercing damage, 8 piercing damage, plus that one, well, if that one's still alive, and the
It is
one
not
next to
still
it,
alive.
okay, I had a feeling. The one next to it needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, that's the one save that these are not bad at. 13?
Oh, damn it. That's exactly what you needed.
Oh,
So it doesn't take any damage. But I killed one of them.
and I guess kind of is it like the shards of ice, or is it just?
Yeah,
like a
so
wave of
basically
colors?
the ice knife impacts and explodes into shards, and anything in that 5-foot area around the target would have to make that saving throw or take
Sweet.
damage.
And this rat kind of leaps back out of the way of the shards before hissing
Yeah.
in your direction.
And I'll just shout at Tuppence, there's like 3 more upstairs. I'm gonna take them out by myself.
And we are back to the rats. Interestingly enough, those of you who can see rats, no new ones appear this time. 5, 6, 7, 8. This one comes running over in Elwyn's direction. This one tries to hide in the barrels. And then, yeah, that's it. That's it for the rats. Tuppence.
Okay, I'm gonna yell at Elwyn. Well, There's one hiding here in the barrels that I think I can get to. Let me get this one first. So where is 30 feet? Right around there.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can go so far. So let's see. Can't cast any more spells. I think I will hold an action though, just in case it pops out to throw darts at it.
Okay. Then Embers.
Embers, seeing that Tuppence is hunting for this rat, is going to go over to this one and open this door.
Okay. Let me reveal the area. You see kind of a back office area.
Mhm.
There's some barrels and casks of what you would presume is some alcohol. There's a desk with lots of papers on it. And there's this like hatch in the ground that is open and ajar, leading downward. There's like a ladder going down into the dark.
Okay. I may as well just use my action here to make a perception check to see if there are any rats in the room.
Okay.
The natural one.
You don't spot any.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope.
Then it's Rook.
Okay, 1 sec. Okay. I think Rook is gonna do.
I think Embers would have called back. Bad news, everyone.
What's that?
Trapdoor in the floor.
Trapdoor in the floor. All right. Well.
There's a basement level.
What? How would we have known that? Yeah, I think Rook will go in here as well. Maybe also roll, a perception check. And like
Okay.
look and listen for.
To speed things up, the group of you can make your perception check, but then the group of you can actually pretty much just regroup there. There's only one more rat out by Elwyn, so I think she can deal with that just fine.
Okay.
Which will make it really easy for the group of you to regroup in this room.
There's also whatever is hiding under that barrel.
That's true.
Yeah.
I got a 19.
And like the two that are upstairs.
Yeah, but they don't seem to actually want to attack us.
Yeah.
With a 19 Rook, you don't see any other rats in this room or any
here.
signs of other rats. Yeah, you don't
Okay.
hear anything that would indicate they're here. But this hatch into the ground, this trapdoor leading downward, is open.
Well, looks like there's one more place to check then. Well,
Yeah.
and then if not, we can go upstairs again.
I'd be happy to go down. I can see in the dark.
I mean, it sounds like they started in the cellar anyways, right? From the story, so
Sounded that way.
makes sense that this would be potentially where the real one is.
Well, then I'll go ahead and move you over to the basement since the group of you can regroup in that room
Was
easily.
a basement.
New.
Down in the basement.
And there would
That
actually
basement's
be
so low.
one more of these here. You come down into the basement and you see 3 rats. And all of them look kind of surprised to see the group of you coming down the ladder. We'll resume with Elwyn. Elwyn, what would you like to do on your turn?
Oh. What are these? Are these identical to the ones we were facing upstairs, or?
As far as you can tell, yes.
All right. Has anyone else been bitten by these rats, or was I the only one?
Rick was.
I took 1 damage.
Okay, just one though. All right, then sure. In that case, I will frostbite one of them.
Which one?
Let's do this one here.
Okay.
Con saving throw.
Right, I need to roll that.
Yep.
That's a failure. I rolled a 2 on the dice.
Good. Good, because I literally have nothing to say about that. Oh my goodness. 2 cold damage.
Okay. It survives.
Yeah, figures. But it also has disadvantage on its next weapon attack until the end of its next turn.
Okay, that's good to know because its turn is up. That one squeezes its way under these barrels here to the north and disappears. And then these ones will come over here. One of them will. Where would Tuppence be as she came down? Would she be like on embers?
No, I'll probably still be flying, so
Okay.
close to the ceiling.
Then it'll go for Rook, and one will go for Embers there.
Yeah.
So Embers is a 16 to hit,
Misses.
and Rook, natural 20. So you'll take 2 piercing damage.
Ouch. Ouch again.
And that's the Doppelrat's turn. So it is Tuppence.
Okay, so, you know, I didn't even check how many darts I have.
We'll figure that out for next time.
You might be the
Okay.
only one who can fit under that
Okay, I have 6. Okay,
those barrels to go after it.
okay. Let me look back at it. So it went, okay. Which barrel did you say? Can you
These
ping it?
ones up to the north.
Okay, so I'm gonna head under there, and once I see it, then I will use my dagger.
Okay. As you kind of get down low there, you can see there's actually a little alcove back there that it is inside, and there seems to be something else next to it, but it's kind of out of, like from your angle, you can't really tell what it is, but you can see the rat there, and it's turned around, and its beady eyes are looking straight at you.
Does it have crumbs?
It's got crumbs on its mouth.
Oh my
Yay!
gosh.
Okay, please hit, please hit, please hit. Okay, here comes my dagger. Okay, that is a 17 plus 4.
Hits.
So it is just a D4 though. It's a 5.
Okay. This one is still alive. But as what was this? It was a dart. The dart pierces into it.
A dagger.
No,
Oh,
dagger.
dagger. This one has like a much more realistic reaction to being hit by one of these daggers. It doesn't seem to like just go motionless or anything like that. Like it lets out a little squeal in pain.
Okay,
In a very good imitation
Little-
of what a rat would look like if it were hurt by
you
damage.
little cat killer.
Embers.
Okay.
Well, just a point though, the cat's not dead.
Okay,
Embers moves between these 2 rats. We're going to see if I can get them both. One is a 17 to hit
Mm-hmm.
for 7 damage.
That's one of them dead.
The other is only a 12 to hit.
That misses, unfortunately.
Oh, dang it.
This rat ducks out of the way.
First miss.
Anything
Would've
else
been
for
max damage
members?
too. Nope, that's it.
Then it's Rook.
Does Tuppence say anything when she sees that rat with the breadcrumbs?
yeah, I would probably say, he's crummy.
Okay, so Rook will. Rook is just gonna walk towards Tuppence then. Yeah.
One will bite at your foot as you go.
Aha! Not again.
It's only, it's a 14 to hit.
That hits.
Okay, so it's another point of piercing damage.
Dang it! Ah, get off of me. Stupid rats. Okay, and can I see the other rat, the crummy rat?
Yeah, if you kind of like get down on the ground
Sure.
and look under the barrels, you can see the alcove back there.
Okay, if I can see it, I would like to cast Tasha's Caustic Brew at it.
Okay. This
That
is new
sounds
for me. I've never
mean.
seen this one in action. How does this work?
So it's a line attack. So I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna hit Tuppence. And they have to make a dexterity saving throw.
That's a natural
DC
one.
14. Okay. So if they fail, then they are covered in acid. Yes,
Okay.
and they take 2d4 damage at the start of their turn. They can use an action to scrape or wash the acid off itself or another creature during their turn.
Okay. Good
So
to
just
know.
this stream of acid.
It gets some of the barrels, like the bottom of the barrels too, and like beer begins to spill out from under them. coating the floorboards here.
Oh dear.
Elwyn.
Waste.
It's
Waste
just
of fine
collateral.
ale.
How's it looking over there?
Wet.
Is it still moving?
Not sure yet.
I will kind of step over this rat here and peek under the barrels.
Yeah, you can see it. It's got acid on it. To get down, you kind of have to put yourself in the beer a little bit. It's kind of gross.
Yeah, that's pretty gross. Oh dear. And I'm gonna cast Frostbite on it.
Okay, con save.
Yeah.
Another natural 1.
Nice.
The Matthew Mercer dice is killing me tonight.
It's because it loves
It's
me.
killing me
better.
too, actually.
Well, that was my other dice that rolled.
Oh,
the 20.
okay.
That's 4 cold damage.
4.
Mm-hmm.
This one is still kicking. A little
Oh,
bit of
damn.
frost forms on it.
Okay.
Then it is the top of its turn.
And it takes
so
2d4
tell me
acid
what it
damage.
takes.
Let me get my 2d4. 1 plus 2. 3 damage.
Still kicking.
Oh, shoot.
But it uses its action to kind of like rub itself on the ground, rub itself on the wall, and scrape off that acid.
Okay.
And then it will. Yeah, I think it will come out by Tuppence and kind of like get in Tuppence's face and bare its teeth. Then it's Tuppence's turn.
Tuppence is going to lift it up with Mage Hand.
Oh boy. Okay. Just make a charisma check then.
Where is it?
You better not be
okay,
taking a
that's my
pet.
spell. Okay, that's
No
a
more
13.
pet rats.
Yeah, you managed to pick it up with Mage Hand. It's kind of squirming in there and squeaking.
I'm going to say, this is the culprit right here. Do you guys want to kill it or trap it or what? I've got it.
But we're not keeping it.
But is it a bad creature? Is it a
I
good
don't know.
creature? Do we want to do
Pretty
experiments
nasty
on
one.
it?
I think after that little acid shower that Rook gave it, it's best to just put it out of its misery.
Because I've never seen one before, so I just want to make sure.
It was also explained to you it's not a creature, like
Yeah.
or it's not like an animal. This is like a magical creation that looks like an animal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so then I'm going to take my dagger and poke it.
Okay.
Wait, can I do that if I use Mage Hand?
Yeah, Mage Hand is an
Yeah,
action,
it'd
right?
That's
be
an action.
wouldn't it? So, but we'll
So
say
I'll
it
just
is
hold it.
grappled by Tuppence's Mage Hand.
Oh, but I had a held action before I forgot to use too. Oh well. I'll just okay. We'll just hold it and someone else can kill it.
Okay, Embers, you're up.
I'm going to try and hit this one next to me first. That's another 12, so I think that misses.
That does miss.
And Embers will just shrug and walk away.
Okay, it chomps at your heel. It misses.
Yeah,
11.
and then I will hit the thing floating in the air, hopefully. With a natural 1. Great.
Oh no.
How did I
geez.
miss with a natural 1?
Is Tuppence feeling mischievous? Does she move it out of the way?
Well, I am flying, so maybe he's just a bad shot or she's a bad shot right now.
Yeah, maybe. It's kind of wobbling there. It's hard to get a read on it. Rook.
Is this the time for the forever, potent, always hitting catapult spell?
Go for it.
Catapult never fails.
All right, let's try my last
Rick.
spell slot. I will use the never fail catapult spell. It's a
You
dex
sure
save.
you don't want to arm wrestle?
Would you believe it's another natural 1? It's the
Okay,
third
all
natural
right.
1
Catapult hit, guys.
Yeah.
All right, so 3d8.
It's a whole new campaign.
This is
3d8.
yeah. That's what it says. That's a lot. That's 15 damage.
Okay. That does the trick. That's a trophy for Rook. What do you catapult into it?
I think like maybe just like a. Can it be like anything that's on the ground, or
Yeah,
is it just
it's
like
like
maybe
small
like a
elements
shard of
around
one of like the barrels or something? Just like you just
Yeah.
pick it up and just
goes
fire it
flying
off and
across
pierce
and
through it.
smacks into the thing, which goes flying out of Tuppence's mage hand and back into the alcove. And as you all kind of duck back down to see whether it moves again from that alcove, you could finally get a glimpse at that other thing that is occupying the space back there. And what you see is an open metal cage. And that's where we'll end today's episode.
Oh.
I knew it! I knew it!
Oh.
Fucking knew it!
Okay.
So thank you all for playing this first episode. I know we went a little bit late, but I didn't want to start with like 10 minutes of a rat fight at the beginning of the next episode. So
good.
thank you all for playing. I had a lot of fun. Thank you to anyone who tuned in to watch this first episode of ours. We'll be back with more of this Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, and we hope to see you then. Have a nice evening. Bye.
Bye!
Bye.
Bye.